Um, is it starting to make sense now why they go so hard towards Harry and Meghan? A full disclaimer. I am not an ageist. I look forward to having wrinkles and being an old woman and having at least 3 grandkids. My daughter's like, go to hell, lady. But that is something that, if the Lord willing, I will live to see. But if we're talking about an institution that is solely dependent on vitality and engagement, and you have everyone in this picture looking a smooth 76, that is a problem. If you didn't know anything about royal content, you would be wondering, well, who's the future king of England? And of course, the right answer would be the guy sitting in the chair. I didn't even have to do all that. That wasn't even funny. This is what the royal family is missing. They are missing this hot, vivacious, they light up a room couple. You know, they just don't have it right now. And no matter how the British media tries to fabricate it and make it into something, it's never going to give that. Popular opinion. While I do think that a lot of the British media is just organically racist, I think a lot of people would have never had a problem with Harry and Meghan had they not been given marching orders to go full-blown Deranger on them. Because early on in the beginning, I mean, these people were they're excited now. Look at how they behaved with Australia. Lying, saying they got tickets to go see them, and lying and saying, I'm proud of the press pact, when you're just stalking them. That's not the same. No, the plan was always to get rid of Meghan, not really Harry. They would love to have Harry back. It's Meghan who's their problem, apparently. But, oh my God, it's giving mothballs in a bad way. Look, like I said, no shade to the elderlies in the room, because what if I told you that the elderlies do more work than the 2 younger royals? You wouldn't believe me, but bitch, look it up. Anyway, yikes. Put this picture away. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Let's talk about something that has become painfully obvious to anyone paying attention. The relentless, almost pathological obsession with attacking Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. If you step back and look at the timeline, the pieces fit together like a badly written soap opera that forgot to hide its biggest plot twist. Because what we're witnessing isn't criticism. It's a coordinated narrative machine. A machine that decided the moment Meghan Sussex became too popular that she had to be the villain. Today, we are exposing the blueprint of the great betrayal. How the British public welcomed Meghan with open arms, only for the royal family, terrified of being overshadowed, to unleash the media hounds and burn the whole house down. The critics love to rewrite history. They want you to believe the UK hated Meghan from day one. That is a flat-out lie. Remember 2017? Remember the engagement? The atmosphere in the UK was electric. Meghan brought something organic, an energy, a star power that you simply cannot manufacture with palace press releases. When Harry and Meghan walked into a room, the air changed. Younger audiences, people who hadn't looked at the monarchy since 1997, were suddenly tuning in. Polls at the time showed Meghan's popularity was soaring. She was a breath of fresh air. She was articulate, modern, and globally relatable. She made a centuries-old institution that usually feels like it's powered by dust and antique furniture feel alive. But that's where the trouble started. Here is the uncomfortable truth the palace doesn't want in the history books. Meghan didn't just marry into the family. She unintentionally revealed its weaknesses. It was like putting a brand new smartphone next to a rotary phone. Both make calls, but one clearly belongs in a museum. Meghan was working at a pace that left the senior royals looking stagnant. Her 72-day tour of Australia, Fiji, Tonga and New Zealand was a masterclass in diplomacy. The crowds were massive. The connection was real. But inside the palace walls, the green-eyed monster was waking up. In the royal family, there is a rigid hierarchy. You are not allowed to be more popular than those above you on the ladder. When Meghan started drawing bigger crowds and better headlines than the heirs, the institution shifted from welcome to containment. Publicly, the royal family pretended innocence. They smiled for the cameras at Christmas. But behind the scenes, the invisible contract with the British tabloids was being signed in blood. The narrative shifted almost overnight. One minute she was the glamorous new royal, the next she was difficult duchess. The palace didn't just fail to protect her, they actively fed the beast. We now know, through various reports and Harry's own testimony, that offices within the palace were leaking and planting stories to deflect from other royal scandals. Think about the hypocrisy. If Meghan touched her baby bump, she was attention-seeking. If Kate did it, she was maternal. If Meghan ate avocado toast, it was linked to human rights abuses. If Kate did it, it was a morning sickness cure. This wasn't accidental. It was a smear campaign designed to turn the British public against her, making her life so miserable that she would have no choice but to leave. Why would they do this? Because if the public hated Meghan, the palace could claim they were just reflecting public opinion when they stripped away her security or denied her support. They used the UK media as a proxy. By unleashing the tabloids to focus on tiaras, crying bridesmaids, and emails at 5 a.m., the media successfully distracted the world from Meghan's actual work. Her cookbook for the Hub Community Kitchen, her advocacy for women's education, her voice. They wanted her to shrink. They wanted her to be a silent, smiling mannequin. But Meghan Sussex doesn't shrink. She is a woman who knows her worth, and that confidence drove the critics into an absolute meltdown. They couldn't control her, so they decided to destroy her reputation instead. The palace played a high-stakes game of chess, and they lost their most valuable player, Prince Harry. The critics pushed this ridiculous narrative that Harry is a confused toddler who was kidnapped by Meghan. Let's be real. Harry is a combat veteran. He founded the Invictus Games. He has spent his life navigating the most scrutinized fishbowl on earth. He didn't leave because he was hypnotized. He left because he saw history repeating itself. He saw the same media machinery that hunted his mother now hunting his wife, and he made the choice any real man would make. He protected his family. The palace thought Harry would choose the institution over Meghan. They were wrong. By choosing to smear Meghan to save their own PR, they severed the bond with a son and a brother. They traded a vibrant global future for a few more years of traditional headlines in the Sun. Here's the ultimate irony. The more they attack, the more they prove Harry and Meghan were right to leave. Every exaggerated scandal only reinforces the fact that the media ecosystem in the UK is broken. And guess what? It didn't work. Harry and Meghan didn't fade away. In fact, their global influence has only grown. They are speaking on mental health, women's empowerment, and social justice on a world stage. They are raising their children in peace, far away from the toxic, leaking and planting culture of the London bureaus. The independence of the Sussexes drives the critics crazy because it proves that you don't need a palace balcony to be relevant. You just need authenticity. At this point, the obsession with Meghan has become comedic. You have experts analysing her outfits like they're decoding ancient hieroglyphics. They interpret every facial expression as a psychological crisis. I have to ask, is this criticism, or is it a bizarre form of fandom? Normal people who dislike a celebrity stop talking about them. They move on. But these critics can't stop. Why? Because Meghan Sussex is the only thing keeping their ratings alive. She is the clickbait queen for the very people who claim to want her gone. At the end of the day, the constant attacks on Harry and Meghan say far more about the people making the attacks than they do about the couple themselves. Resilience, independence, and authenticity are not weaknesses. They are threats to a status quo that is desperate to stay relevant. Harry and Meghan are evolving. They are building something new and modern that resonates with millions of us who see ourselves in their struggle for freedom. No matter the headline, that reality isn't going anywhere. But I want to hear from you. Why do you think the palace was so threatened by Meghan's early popularity? Do you think the royal family realizes the gravity of what they lost when Harry walked away? Let's get a discussion going in the comments below. I read as many as I can. Before you go, if you are tired of the mainstream media lies and want to support the Sussexes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We are building a community here that stands for truth and calls out the bullies. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next update, and remember, truth always wins in the end. See you in the next one.